So as I always do say, construction is the most important part of the process, and it's also the most lengthy part. And even if you're buying a house that's completed, having a house that is properly built is the most important, because not only for your money, for your investment, but also for your own personal safety and the safety of your family. You know, it's so important. So that's why I preach it. And we're over in Davenport, Florida, and this is over by the Posner Park shopping area. This community has a playground. Where's that playground again? Right there. And pool and all that great stuff is on the way. So just something to keep in mind. We're gonna check out the models here. This one is called the Alright, so let's go inside and check out the Indigo. It's 5 beds, 3 beds, 2-car garage, 2,471 square feet, and a big truck. Big trucks love to pass by when I'm making my videos. And of course I'm kidding, you know, I don't really think that they wait for me. Alright, so the Indigo, I believe I have a few videos of the Indigo, but I'll know as soon as I go inside. Yeah, I think I have a video of this at another community, which I believe is long since sold out in Davenport. So these homes come with upgraded flooring, okay? So you're going to get the vinyl plank, the luxury vinyl plank, which is becoming more and more popular these days. You know, it used to be tile, you know, the square tile, then it was the tile that's the rectangle. Now the vinyl plank is in style, I guess you could say. And I like it, you know, I really like the vinyl plank. The only thing with, you know, vinyl plank is, you know, you want to, you know, be a little bit cautious of it. You don't want to, like, scrape things across the floor if you can help it. And what I mean by things is I'm looking at, like, the legs of these tables and chairs and stuff like that, you know. You got to look at the kind of vinyl plank that you have and look at the kind of wear it has. And I believe it's called an ML or something like that. Like how thick the coating is on it. Because if it's a thin one, and I think it's a 5. I think a 5 is thin, and then it goes to thicker. Like when you get into the 20, I think they even get up into 30 or 40 or something like that. So as you can see over here, you got this cement pad. In back, there's no lanai, but you do have this little bit of an overhang here. And actually over here they're using the better soffit panels. Just by looking at this one will help to stop some of the rain from coming in, compared to the other ones that are just like a hole. I hate those. Let's look at the kitchen. You know, you got the quartz countertops. Now I'm walking towards the pantry. Yeah, pretty good sized pantry. Pretty, you know, average size, I guess you could say, a standard size pantry. That's what most homes have, something like this. I'm looking at the construction on the screen, on the TV. That's kind of interesting. Of course, you know, that's always the most important part is, you know, construction. Now this is the garage, which is also the sales office, so we're not going to go in now. There's your full bathroom and a bedroom on the first floor. And you know, if you've been watching my videos, I love to see that. You know, it's so important. Really is. And I like this kind of door on a closet, you know, with like this up here. It's always better than the folding sliding doors. But a house like this really adds to the flexibility, you know, for the future, you know. Let's just say if, you know, you yourself, you know, enjoy the house and, you know, you want to live there forever, you know, it's going to be your house that you know, you're never going to move out of. Well, the good thing is that, you know, you have a bedroom on the first floor and a shower. So potentially, you know, you could use it a lot longer when, you know, going up stairs could be a bit of an issue in time. Although I always think about like those chairs. You get one of those chairs that go up and down on the side. Well, this is nice looking, nice and colorful. Very interesting. Yeah, play. You know, these lofts are becoming more popular with people that have children as the playroom. And a lot of times when I'm working with families, you know, young families, people that are starting to have children, I try to talk about that with them because it's so important, and a lot of them don't consider it. They buy the smallest house to save a little bit of money, but then they might have to sell it down the road, you know, 2 years later, 3 years later, and it's not uncommon. So back to the closet, back to this bedroom with the closet. This is a good sized bedroom too. I'm going to walk back over here and just turn around. Of course, it's definitely a larger sized bedroom. Look at all the space you have when you first walk in. And then, you know, how much space is around this bed. I believe this bed is a full-size bed. You can see there's a lot of pieces of furniture in here. You got 3 pieces of furniture, and when bedrooms are small, typically builders don't put too much in it because they want it to look bigger. And then over here we got the full bathroom. And here is another bedroom. And look at this. A little walk-in closet. Wasn't quite expecting this, even though I think I have seen this house before. More than once. But yeah, little walk-in closet. And another very good sized bedroom. Casa Fresca does have some nice layouts with their, you know, their homes. Their floor plans are pretty nice. This is a big room. Look at this. I mean, I get it. There's a baby crib over there, but you can see they put a chair in there, an ottoman. Got this piece of furniture to the left. Something over there. So yeah, it's just a good sized room. Again, this is the Indigo model. And of course, my service is free to you because it's builder paid. It's use it or lose it. Don't forget that. You know, when you start going off to builders alone, you may lose that ability to get the paid for representation. And so many people pass on it. It's crazy. It's like it doesn't do anything for them. You know, when they go alone, you know, they don't get a better deal. So, you know, I don't really know what they're getting from it, but of course it's their right, you know. So again, back to the loft. And a very good sized loft at that too. You see there's 2 computers. So if kids got to do homework, that's how they have this set up. Then here's the laundry. And then what is this, HVAC closet, I'm guessing? Yeah, HVAC. And here's a large master bedroom. Look at that. What's this, towel closet? Oh, master bedroom closet. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's a big closet. Look at this. Huge closet. This is the kind of closet that is fantastic for somebody that is, you know, having a baby in the future, because they could put a crib right in this closet. I mean, as long as it's not, you know, fully packed full of stuff, you know, this would be really great for that. Keep the baby close for those, you know, those first few months or whatever it might be. Shower and toilet in the closet room. I'm really liking this color paint, and I know it's not going to show up on camera, but it's like a greenish, it's not gray. I think the camera is showing it as being gray. Let's see if I get it more in sunlight. Yeah, it's like a greenish color. Yeah, the greens and the blues are really showing up in a lot of model homes now. Of course, I should mention that over here you're getting 2 sinks with your master bedroom. The dual sinks. Good master bed. This bed is really high. I keep staring at the height of this. I mean, let's see. Where's my hip? My hip is like, there's my hip. It's all the way down here. Look how high that bed is. Yeah. I mean, I'm 6'1", so this is a pretty high bed. Looks comfortable though. I want to lay in it right now and go to sleep instead of making this stupid video. All right, so let's just walk out and talk about this house briefly. Again, really big master bedroom. You know, you can't go wrong with this. I think that this house has a really good floor plan. Your laundry room is up here. It's a little bit smaller of a laundry room. There's not really too much extra space. You could probably put like a little rack over here if you need to, but that's about it. But the great thing about this, I think, is this loft. You know, you have a great loft. Again, for people with children, or if you just want to set this up as like a bit of like a home theater room, you know, you could do that. These bedrooms, again, really great size. So you got your 4 bedrooms up here. This bedroom, and then this one over here. So you have 4 bedrooms and a loft on the first floor. And then downstairs, oh, we're switching hands, the handrail's on the left. Downstairs was that extra bedroom. Where was it? Was it here? Yes, it was here. This was that. This is where the bedroom is. So you got this bedroom on the first floor, and it's nice because this bedroom is not totally in front of the house or totally in the rear of the house either. And I say that because, you know, if the rear of your house is more noisy or the front of your house is more noisy, at least in the middle, it might be a little bit more quiet. And then, you know, a very good size common area, I guess you could say. Let's put the camera up a little higher. Got your dining room table, and yeah, you know, a good sized kitchen. Very nice house, very nice. Really well thought out for the square footage. I like it.